Emma Carter sat at her window and watched the street below. The late afternoon light made long shadows on the pavement. She felt a hollow ache in her chest. Her best friend Sophia had moved across the country last month. Every day Emma thought of Sophia's laugh and her warm voice. Now those memories felt distant, like stars she could see but never touch. Each morning, Emma opened her phone, hoping for a message. She checked her inbox again and again. There were photos from classmates, notes from teachers, even ads in junk mail, but never a word from Sophia. She stared at Sophia's empty chat thread and felt tears burn behind her eyes. The silence felt louder than any shout. Emma remembered how they had spent hours exploring the woods behind her house. They built forts from fallen branches and named each tree in their secret forest. They dreamed of adventures among the stars, talking late into the night. Emma had always loved Sophia's brave spirit. Now that spirit felt lost, and Emma wondered if it still shone at all. She tried to call. Each ring echoed in her quiet room. Voicemail answered every time. A small part of her hoped that Sophia had lost her phone or was just too busy to answer. But another part feared the truth, that Sophia had moved on without her. The thought cut deeper than any blade. At school, Emma smiled when friends asked how she was. She joked about homework and weekend plans, but inside, she felt alone. She wondered if her hope was silly. Maybe friendship could not cross so many miles. Yet she remembered the human way. When things seemed impossible, people found a path. In her mind, Emma spoke to her own heart. "You are strong," she told herself. "Humans do not give up." She thought of great explorers who crossed oceans and deserts. She thought of every message that humans sent across time letters and bottles. Radio waves sent into space, songs recorded for future generations. Humans reached for each other, even when the world tried to keep them apart. That night Emma sat at her desk under a lamp. She pulled out a sheet of paper and a pen. She hesitated, then wrote Sophia's name at the top. She closed her eyes and remembered her friend's bright smile. "Dear Sophia," she began, "I miss you more than words can say. I think of our adventures every day. I want to hear your voice and know how you are." She wrote slowly, pouring her heart onto the page. When the letter was full, she smiled through her tears. She folded it carefully and placed it in an envelope. On the front, she printed Sophia's new address in neat letters. She felt a spark of hope as she sealed it. The simple act of writing felt like a bridge across the miles. The next morning, Emma rode her bike to the post office. The sun was warm on her back. She handed the letter to the clerk and watched as it disappeared into the mailbag. Her chest felt lighter. She knew she could not control when or if Sophia would answer, but she had done what she could. She had reached out. Over the next days, Emma went to school and did her work. She told her classmates she had sent a letter to Sophia. Some smiled and nodded. Others asked questions about long distance. "Mail," Emma answered, with a small grin. Each day she checked the mailbox, but even before a reply arrived, she felt a quiet strength grow inside her. She understood that hope did not depend on a single reply. Hope was a choice humans made every day. It was the courage to send a message into the unknown. It was the belief that connections could survive distance. As Emma stood by her window each evening, she no longer felt only longing. She felt purpose. She would wait, and she would believe that one day Sophia's voice would come back across the miles. 2 weeks passed since Emma mailed her letter. Each day she rode her bike to the mailbox and opened it. No letter came. Heavy weight in her chest, but she held on to hope. Emma sat at her desk each night and wrote in her journal. She wrote about her sadness and her wish to hear Sophia's voice again. She wrote about the secret forest and how much she missed there, laughter under the trees. When she finished, she closed the journal and let her thoughts settle. Then she decided to try a new way to reach her friend. Emma knew Sophia loved art, so she drew a picture of their forest. She sketched tall trees with names carved on their trunks. She drew 2 girls laughing under a golden sky. She used bright colors and simple lines. At the bottom she wrote, "I miss you, Sophia." The next morning, she mailed the drawing in a neat envelope. She also tried to call again. She set her phone to Sophia's time zone and rang it morning and evening. Each time the call went to voicemail, Emma left a short voice message. "Hi, Sophia. It's Emma. I hope you like the drawing. I miss you so much." Then she waited. At school, Emma joined the art club. She hoped to find ideas for long-distance friendship. She met students who had friends in other states or countries. They shared tips on mailing packages and using video chat. Emma learned about a simple video letter app and signed up for it. One afternoon after class, she stood in her room with her phone. She recorded a short video. "Hi, Sophia. It's Emma here. I miss you. The forest is blooming, and I set up a new treehouse for us. Can't wait to explore it with you." She ended with a shy smile and sent the video. The next days, she checked the app. Still no reply. She felt her hope tremble. But she refused to let it go. She thought of every explorer who crossed oceans and every message sent across space. Believed that her video would reach Sophia in time. Each morning, Emma greeted her classmates with a brave smile, though her heart ached. She helped friends in class and shared stories about their secret forest. Her voice grew stronger with each retelling. She found new joy in remembering every detail. At home, she drew more pictures. She made a map of their forest with hidden paths and secret clearings. She folded it small and mailed it with another letter. "This map leads to our next adventure." With each parcel, her hope grew brighter. Then Emma decided to try something different. She borrowed her mother's old ham radio and learned to send Morse code messages. She tapped simple words, MMASOSFIA. Each tap felt like her heartbeat. She listened for a reply but heard only static. She kept trying. One sunny afternoon, Emma found a small package waiting at her door. It was from her brother Ryan. Inside was a new sketchbook and a note. "Keep creating. I believe in you." Emma's eyes filled with tears. She felt the strength of her family behind her and smiled. That night, Emma used the sketchbook to draw paper lanterns floating among the trees. Each lantern held a wish to hear Sophia's laugh, a wish to share a new secret, a wish to walk beside her friend again. She mailed the lantern design in a silk paper letter, sealing it with care. 2 days later, as she opened her journal, her phone buzzed. Her hands shook as she saw a notification from the video letter app. She tapped it and saw Sophia's face on the screen. Sophia's eyes were bright and her smile was wide. "Hi, Emma," Sophia said. "I'm so sorry for the silence. I lost my phone at my new school. Just got it back. Your letters and drawings meant the world to me. I miss you too. Let's plan our next forest adventure wherever we are. I'll send you a drawing tonight." Emma felt her chest filled with light. Tears of joy streamed down her cheeks. She whispered, "I knew we could find our way back." She hit reply and began to record her own message. The miles between them seemed to shrink. Standing by her window that evening, Emma felt hope burn bright in her heart. She learned that humans never give up on those they love. She learned that distance could not break the bond between friends. And she knew that, with hope and persistence, they would share many new adventures under the trees they both called home. 3 weeks passed since Emma and Sophia reconnected by video. Emma's sadness had lifted, but a new challenge took its place. Seeing Sophia on a small screen was not the same as standing beside her in the woods. Emma wanted to share their forest adventures in real time. She wanted their laughter to echo through the trees again. She did not know how to make that happen, but she refused to give up. One afternoon, Emma sat at her desk with her laptop open. She searched for ways to explore together online. She typed virtual forest map into the search bar. She found a simple drawing app that let 2 people draw on the same page at once. She smiled. Maybe they could recreate their secret forest there? Emma called Sophia, and they agreed to try the app that evening. When the time came, Emma opened the link and waited. Sophia joined from her bedroom across the country. The screen split in two, with a blank white page in the middle. Emma chose a green pen. Sophia chose brown. Together, they drew tall trees, winding paths, and mossy stones. They added a wooden bench where they used to sit. As they drew, Emma felt the distance shrink. Every stroke was a shared memory. Every color was a promise. They laughed when Sophia drew a squirrel wearing a tiny backpack. They joked about building a real treehouse with solar panels. Emma's heart swelled with hope. Humans could build bridges with code and pixels. After they saved their drawing, Emma thought of going further. She remembered her father's old cardboard boxes from a moving day. She asked him for one. With scissors and tape, she built a small model of their forest. She painted the trees on the sides and cut out little paper figures of her and Sophia. She placed a tiny bench and a paper squirrel inside. That night, she held the model in her hands. She set up her phone camera so Sophia could see it on video chat. When Sophia appeared on the screen, Emma turned the model around. Sophia gasped. "It's just like our forest," she said. "You brought it here." Emma nodded. "So we can visit any time," she said. "We can be there together." Sophia smiled, and Emma knew they had invented a new way to share space. The next day, Emma's teacher announced a school fair. Students could show projects that used art and science. Emma's mind raced. What if she entered her forest model? She could invite Sophia to present it with her over video. She went home and polished the model, adding tiny LED lights for fireflies. She practiced speaking clearly about their project. On fair day, Emma set up her table with the forest model under a clear box. She positioned a tablet beside it with the video link. When judges came, she spoke in a calm voice. "This is our secret forest. My friend and I live far apart, but we explore here together, use drawings, a model, and video chat. Humans are creative. We find ways to connect." The judges listened and smiled. During the fair, many students and teachers tried the tablet. They drew on the screen and saw their shapes appear next to Emma's forest model. Some asked questions about long-distance friendship. Emma answered with pride. She felt the spirit that all humans share, the will to reach out, to build, to hope. After the fair, Emma and Sophia talked about ways to improve their project. Sophia suggested making sound effects. Emma recorded birdsong and wind on her phone. She learned how to play the sounds through the tablet. Sophia found a free tone generator online and made soft music for their forest. Together, they wove a soundscape that made their model come alive. With each update, Emma's confidence grew. The sadness of distance felt smaller than her creative spirit. She realized that humans never stay apart if they care enough. They wrote a short guide on how to build a shared forest model and posted it online. Others began to try it with friends and family around the world. One evening, Emma's mother knocked on her door. She held a small package wrapped in brown paper. "This came for you," she said. Emma opened it and found a tiny compass and a note in Sophia's handwriting. "So you always find your way back to me." Emma's eyes filled with tears of joy. She held the compass against her heart. She whispered, "I will find my way back, and so will you." That night, Emma placed the compass next to her forest model. She turned on the LEDs and the forest sounds. She reached out on video and touched the screen where Sophia's face appeared. They smiled at each other, knowing that the miles could not keep them apart. Emma felt proud of her human strength and hope. She understood that distance was only a challenge, not a wall. She believed that with creativity and persistence, humans could connect across any space. As she drifted to sleep that night, the light from the tiny fireflies danced on her ceiling. She dreamed of the day when she and Sophia would stand together under real trees once more, but until then. Their forest stood ready in pixels, paper, and light. 1 month passed since Emma and Sophia built their model forest and shared new sounds. Emma still felt the ache of distance. She longed to smell the pine needles under the tall trees and to feel the soft moss beneath her feet. Video and models helped, but Emma wanted something more real, a way to touch the forest from far away. Emma thought of all the senses humans have: smell, touch, hearing, sight. She realized that she could send a care package with items from her forest. She collected a fresh pine cone from under the tallest tree, a small jar of forest soil, and a pressed leaf from the big oak. She added a tiny vial of pine scent that her mother had made in a craft class. Next, Emma found small speakers and a battery pack. She recorded the gentle rustle of leaves, the distant call of birds, and the soft wind. She saved the sounds to a tiny audio player and taped it inside a box painted like tree bark. She placed the pinnacone, soil jar, and leaf in velvet cloth inside the box. Then she wrote a note: touch, smell, and hear our forest. With care. Emma packed the box and rode her bike to the post office. Her hands trembled as she mailed it. She hoped the box would arrive safely. She imagined Sophia opening it, smelling the pine, touching the soil, and hearing the forest sound. She believed that humans could share more than images, and words they could share a moment in nature. 2 weeks later, Emma sat by her window and watched the mailbox. When the post arrived, she found a small envelope addressed to her. Inside was a video link from Sophia. Emma clicked play. On the screen, Sophia held a similar box wrapped in forest green paper. She opened it carefully. Her eyes widened as she lifted the pinnacone and brought it to her nose. She inhaled deeply and smiled. "Emma, I feel like I'm there," Sophia said, her voice soft. She held the jar of soil, let a grain fall between her fingers, and whispered, "I can feel the earth under my skin." Then she tapped the audio. Player and the forest sounds filled the room. Sophia closed her eyes and swayed as if she stood beneath the trees. Emma watched through tears. Humans used creativity to turn distance into closeness. Inspired, Emma dreamed of even more ways to connect. She remembered a news story about live streams from remote places. What if they could visit the forest in real time? She asked her parents to help buy a simple wearable camera and a phone mount. They agreed, seeing how much it meant to her. One afternoon, Emma strapped the camera to her baseball cap and clipped the small battery pack to her backpack. She set up a video call with Sophia and turned on the live stream. The screen showed Emma stepping into the forest, leaves crunching under her boots. Sophia gasped. "It's like I'm with you," she said. Emma led the way through the familiar paths. She pointed the camera at the mossy stones and the carved tree trunks. She knelt to show a patch of wildflowers hidden in a clearing. Sophia asked questions. "What does the air feel like? Is the sun warm?" Emma lifted her hand to catch a sunbeam and smiled. "It's soft and bright," she said. "The air smells like fresh pine." As they walked, they laughed together when a chipmunk darted across the path. Emma whispered so softly that Sophia could hear every word. When the wind rustled the treetops, Emma paused and let the sound fill both their ears. At that moment, distance felt small, and their friendship felt unbreakable. After the live forest visit, Emma knew they could do even more. She saved money from her allowance and odd jobs in her neighborhood. She made a plan to travel to Sophia's new town during the summer break. She mapped the route, listed stops at parks and forests along the way, and calculated gas and snack costs. She presented the plan to her parents, explaining how important it was to bridge the miles. They agreed to help, moved by Emma's determination and careful planning. Emma felt proud of her human spirit, the will to dream, to invent, and to connect. She wrote a short note to Sophia: "I'm coming to see you, and we will walk in a forest together soon." She mailed it with a small toy compass so they could find their way. That night, Emma lay in bed with the compass on her nightstand. She thought of the adventures ahead, real walks in the forest with Sophia by her side, not just through a screen or model. She felt hope shine in her chest. She knew that humans never give up on friendship. Distance was only a challenge to overcome. And soon, they would stand together under the trees they both loved. Emma woke early on the day of her journey. The sun was just above the horizon. She packed her small suitcase with warm clothes, snacks, and the compass she and Sophia shared. Her heart beat fast with hope and excitement. Humans had crossed oceans and deserts to find each other. Today, Emma would cross her own miles. Her parents drove her to the bus station, where Emma carried her suitcase and the model forest in a sturdy box. The driver helped lift it into the luggage hold. Emma smiled and pressed the compass in her pocket. It pointed the way to Sophia's town and to their friendship inside the station. Emma found the board with departure times. Her bus would leave in 30 minutes. She sat by the window, watching people hurry by. Some families hugged goodbye. Some travelers read maps. Emma felt a warm pride in being human. People moved for work and love, and she was doing the same. When the bus arrived, Emma found her seat by the window. She placed the compass safe on the seat beside her. As the bus rumbled forward, she waved at her parents. They waved back, smiles and tears in their eyes. Emma felt their love give her strength. The road stretched ahead, lined with fields and small towns. Emma watched farms roll by and children playing near schoolyards. She thought of Sophia discovering this new world. She wondered what her friend was wearing, what she was thinking. She reached into her bag for the forest map and traced the paths with her finger. Halfway through the trip, the bus stopped at a small rest area. Emma stepped off to stretch her legs. She saw a family struggling with a stroller on the steps. She ran over and helped lift it aboard. The parents thanked her. Emma felt proud that humans helped each other without waiting for reward. Back on the bus, Emma settled in and wrote a quick note in her journal. She wrote, "Today I travel for our friendship. I carry our memories and our forest inside me." She drew a small tree next to her words. Her pen moved with determination. Humans recorded journeys and letters for thousands of years. She was following that tradition. Later, the bus driver announced they would arrive at the central station soon. Emma gathered her bags and the forest model. She felt both nervous and joyful. What if she missed the stop? What if Sophia had changed her mind? She touched the compass in her pocket. It felt cold and real. It reminded her of hope. The bus rolled into the station at last. Emma stood and collected her things. She followed the crowd off the bus and into the station. The air smelled of coffee and new paint. She saw the exit sign and stepped outside. Sophia had told her she would meet her near the clock tower. Emma looked for the tall clock tower in the center of town. The building rose above the shops and cafes. Its hands moved slowly, marking each minute she waited. Emma checked her watch. Sophia was already 5 minutes late. Emma set up the model forest on a bench under a tree. She unfolded the tiny paper trees and placed the felt undergrowth. She switched on the LED lights so the model glowed softly. She held up the compass and turned it until it pointed north, towards Sophia's home. Emma whispered to herself, "I'm here. I found my way." Suddenly, Emma heard a familiar voice. Emma. She turned and saw Sophia standing shyly beside her. Sophia held a small backpack and wore a bright smile. Emma's heart leaped. Ran forward and hugged Sophia tight. Sophia's arms wrapped around her and squeezed back. They sat on the bench together and looked at the model forest. Sophia's eyes shone as she touched the tiny trees. Emma pointed to the door they often used in their model to enter the secret clearing. "This spot is ours," she said. Sophia nodded and put her hand on the compass. "We made it together." Later, they walked to a nearby park. Real tall trees overhead and green grass underfoot. Emma led Sophia along a winding path. They laughed as they spotted pine cones on the ground. Emma picked one up and compared it to the one in Sophia's box. They pressed their fingers together and promised to plant a new tree here as the sun dipped low. They sat on a log and shared snacks. Emma told Sophia about the people she met on the bus and how she helped the family with the stroller. Sophia shared stories of her new school and her roommate. They found that humans everywhere learned and grew when they explored and reached out. When it was time to go home, Emma and Sophia walked back to the clock tower. They'd made memories in both the model and the real forest. They looked at the compass one last time together. Emma pressed it into Sophia's hand. "For you, so you always know the way back to me," she said. Sophia smiled and tucked the compass in her pocket. They hugged and promised this trip would be the first of many. As Emma boarded the bus home, she felt her chest glow with hope. She had crossed miles for friendship. She had proven that humans never give up on the ones they care about. And always. Hope would light the path. Emma returned home from her visit with Sophia, feeling both happy and thoughtful. She had seen her friend's new life, but now she faced empty days again. The forest model sat on her desk, the compass resting beside it. Emma loved having these reminders, but she still missed the real laughter and warmth of Sophia's voice. Next to her, in the days after the trip, Emma found herself waking early and staring at the empty chair by her window. She wondered how to keep their friendship alive until the next visit. She tried video calls each evening, but sometimes the connection was slow, or Sophia was busy with schoolwork. The screen felt small and distant. Emma decided to create a shared journal. She found a blank notebook and wrote on the first page, "Our story." Then she mailed it to Sophia with a fresh pinnacone and a pressed flower from the local park. Emma imagined Sophia opening the package and turning the pages. She pictured her friend writing back in bright ink. A week later, a return envelope arrived. Inside was the notebook with new pages filled in Sophia's neat handwriting. Sophia had drawn pictures of her new town, its hills, a small lake, and a playground they could visit together. She wrote about her classes, her new teachers, and a funny story of a lost puppy she had helped. Emma smiled as she read. Reading Sophia's words made Emma feel close again. She grabbed a pencil and sketched their forest clearing in the journal's next blank page. She added both their paper figures sitting on a log, sharing hot cocoa. "Lo," she wrote, "I can almost smell the pine when I visit here." Then she carefully packed the journal and mailed it back. As the weeks passed, the journal became their shared space. They wrote stories about imaginary adventures, space voyages, hidden treasure hunts, and secret gardens. Each page had drawings, poems, or simple notes. "Today I learned to bake bread," or "I saw a rainbow over the schoolyard." Each entry brought them closer. One afternoon, Emma's teacher announced a writing contest. The prompt was friendship beyond distance. Emma felt her heart race. She could write about her shared journal and the forest model in their video. Halsey spent days crafting her essay. She described how humans never give up on those they care about, finding new ways to connect even across miles. When contest results came, Emma learned she had won second place. The teacher read her essay aloud in class. Classmates nodded and smiled at the words. "Hope is stronger than any distance, and humans build bridges with words, art, and heart." Emma felt proud of her human spirit, of her courage to keep trying. That night, Emma and Sophia celebrated with a video chat, caked 2 slices of vanilla with green frosting. They laughed as they held their forks to the camera. They shared the moment, even though they were far apart. Emma felt tears of joy as Sophia said, "I feel like you were here with me." But soon, Emma faced another challenge. Winter arrived, and the forest paths near her home were covered in snow. She longed to walk in the woods, but the cold kept her inside. She worried that the next time she visited, the forest would look different. She didn't know how to share the changing seasons. With Sophia, then, she had an idea. Emma borrowed her mother's old instant camera and took photos of the forest in snow. She captured snow on pine branches, frozen puddles, and footprints of small animals. She printed the photos and created a small album titled Winter Secrets. Inside, she added notes about each picture. "Here a rabbit hopped," or "This tree wears a snow hat." Emma mailed the album to Sophia with a note, "So you can visit our winter forest." She felt hopeful as she dropped it into the mailbox. She imagined Sophia flipping through the photos and feeling the chill and the magic of snow. She believed that humans could share seasons as well as stories. A few days later, Sophia sent back a package full of postcards she had found in her new town's post office. Each card showed a local winter, icy lakes, holiday markets, and cozy cabins. Sophia wrote on each card about the sights and smells and the laughter of children at a nearby festival. Emma read them by the glow of her desk lamp. Standing by her window that night, Emma held a postcard of a frozen lake. She imagined standing there with Sophia, toes warming by a fire. She felt her hope glow inside her chest. She understood that, though seasons change and distance shifts, humans adapt and invent new ways to share moments. She knew their friendship would grow with every story, every drawing, every photo, and every heartbeat that reached across the miles. Spring came slowly to Emma's town. The snow melted, and the ground grew soft. Small green shoots pushed through the earth. Emma watched from her window as bulbs opened into flowers. She felt hope in the air, but also a fresh ache in her heart. Sophia was far away, and Emma still missed her voice beside her. Each morning, Emma walked through her garden and thought of Sophia. She cared for her tulips like she once cared for their forest model. She watered each stem and whispered messages. To them, grow strong and tell Sophia, I am here. Then she would go inside and stare at her phone. Hoping for a new way to reach her friend, Emma tried writing again in their shared journal. She filled pages with poetry about spring rain and waking woods. But the empty space on the next page made her doubt. She loved to write, but she wondered if words alone could bridge the miles one more time. She needed something new. One afternoon, Emma's father played an old record of human voices singing folk songs. Emma listened to the warm tones and thought of Sophia's laugh. An idea bloomed. What if she could send Sophia a soundscape? Humans shared stories through songs for centuries. Perhaps this could be their next bridge. Emma borrowed her mother's recorder and set out into the forest. She walked barefoot on soft moss. She recorded birdsong, the hum of bees around early blooms, and the crunch of twigs underfoot. She even sang softly a lullaby she and Sophia used to whisper. Each note felt like a step toward her friend. Back at home, Emma edited the recordings into a simple track. She added a greeting at the start. Hi, Sophia. This is our forest waking in spring. Then she burned the track onto a small CD. She decorated the CD case with pressed flowers and a drawing of two girls walking hand in hand beneath budding branches. Emma mailed the CD with a note. Press play and close your eyes. You'll be here with me. She pictured Sophia listening, feeling the breeze on her skin. The thought made Emma's chest warm. Humans did not surrender to distance. They created songs, letters, and signals to reach each other across oceans. A week passed before Emma saw a response. One evening, her phone rang with a video call. Sophia's face appeared with bright eyes and a huge grin. Behind her, Emma saw a backyard garden filled with tulips and daffodils. Sophia held the CD up to the camera. I love it, she said. I can almost hear the birds here. Then Sophia pressed play and held her phone's speaker close. The sound of Emma's recording filled the room. Sophia closed her eyes and swayed like she stood among the trees. Emma watched through the screen, tears of joy in her eyes. Distance felt smaller than the warmth in her chest as they talked. Sophia showed Emma her own project. She had pressed flowers from her garden and made a small album. A good small album. She had also recorded the rustle of wind and the buzz of insects. Together, they decided to combine their recordings into a shared spring soundscape. They would share it online so other friends could listen to, but Emma wanted something more. She remembered reading about augmented reality filters that placed virtual objects in real spaces. What if they could create a virtual forest in each other's gardens? Emma downloaded a simple filter-making app. She taught herself to draw 3D trees and place them in a phone camera view. Emma spent hours in the forest, scanning bark and leaves. With her phone, she learned to map branches and add animated butterflies. Each afternoon, she called Sophia and showed her progress. Sophia smiled as she saw digital trees rise behind Emma in the video. It felt like a magic trick, but it was human ingenuity. When the filter was ready, Emma shared the link with Sophia. Sophia opened it in her backyard. Through her phone screen, she saw their secret forest superimposed on her garden. She walked under a digital arch of blossoms. Emma walked beside her on the screen. They were hundreds of miles apart. They recorded a short video together using the filter. They laughed as petals fell around them. They spoke about hope and how humans never stop finding ways to connect. Then they posted the video on a small community page for long-distance friends. Soon, others tried the filter with their own loved ones. Seeing other friendships bloom warmed Emma's heart. She realized that distance had become their greatest teacher. It taught them to adapt, invent, and share more than ever before. She and Sophia talked for hours that evening, planning new filter themes for summer and autumn. They sketched ideas for a virtual campsite under the stars. As Emma turned off her phone and looked out the window, she felt peace. Spring flowers glowed in the street lamps. She felt the human spirit in every bud and pixel of their forest filter. She understood that no matter the miles or seasons, humans would use hope, creativity, and friendship to stay close. Distance could not break their bond and reshape it in new and wonderful ways. Summer arrived with warm air and bright sunshine. Emma sat on her porch, the forest model beside her and the compass in her hand, watched the sky and thought of Sophia. They had built virtual forests, shared soundscapes, pressed flowers, and sent care packages. Yet Emma still felt a soft ache. She longed for the day they would stand together under real trees again. One afternoon, Emma opened her mailbox and found a thick envelope from Sophia. Her heart raced as she tore it open. Inside was a handmade invitation. "Come visit me this summer. Let's explore my woodland trail together." Sophia had drawn a map of her town, marking the trailhead and a picnic spot by a stream. Emma smiled through happy tears. Humans crossed oceans and deserts for hope and friendship. Now, she had a real journey to plan. Emma ran inside and showed the letter to her parents. They hugged her and saw the compass's needle pointing east toward Sophia's home. Emma booked the train tickets with their help. She packed her suitcase with warm clothes, snacks, and all the treasures they had shared: the forest model, the shared journal, the spring sound CD, and the augmented reality filter loaded on her tablet. On the morning of her trip, Emma waved goodbye to her mother at the train station. Her bag rattled softly with the forest model inside. The train's whistle blew, and Emma boarded. As the train moved, she traced Sophia's map on the invitation. She imagined walking the woodland trail, hearing the stream's gentle rush, and feeling Sophia's hand in hers. The journey took several hours. Emma watched fields, hills, and small towns pass by. She wrote in her journal, "I travel with hope and memories. Soon I will make new ones." She drew a quick sketch of the skyline near Sophia's town, a church steeple, a row of shops, and distant woods. Humans had mapped stars and valleys. Now she mapped her own path to friendship. When the train pulled into the station, Emma carried her bag and the model forest through the crowd. She looked for the oak tree where Sophia would meet her. There it stood, tall and wide, its branches casting cool shade. Beneath it, Sophia waited with a bright smile and open arms. Emma ran forward and they embraced, their laughter mingling with birdsong. They walked together to the trailhead. The sun glinted through leaves overhead. Emma held the forest model and pointed out parts they had built together. Sophia led Emma down a narrow path lined with ferns. The air smelled of pine and earth. Emma closed her eyes and breathed deeply. At that moment, she felt home. As they walked, Sophia paused by a mossy rock and handed Emma a small wooden box. Inside was a new compass. One side pointed north, the other carried Sophia's engraving, "Find me under the trees." Emma's eyes filled with joy. She pressed the compass to her heart. Humans made tools for travel and heart alike. This compass was both. They reached a clearing by the stream. Here, Sophia had set up a picnic blanket and a basket full of treats. Emma unpacked the forest model and placed it on a flat rock. Together, they set the model beside the real forest. The tiny trees cast shadows on the moss, and a gentle breeze stirred both paper leaves and real ones. They ate sandwiches and fresh fruit. They told each other stories of the weeks apart. Emma spoke of her garden blooms and journal entries. Sophia spoke of new classes and a school play she joined. Each tale was like a fresh breeze, carrying laughter and new memories. They dipped their toes in the cool stream, feeling smooth pebbles beneath their feet. After lunch, Emma took out her tablet and opened the augmented reality filter. Through the screen, the real forest shimmered with virtual blossoms and butterflies. Sophia laughed as she saw petals fall around them. They recorded a short video message to send to friends who had tried the filter online. Humans had invented code and pixels to bring friends together across space. Now they used it together in person. As afternoon light waned, they climbed a small hill overlooking the woods. Emma held both compasses up to compare. The needles aligned, pointing toward the unseen horizon. Emma said softly, "We'll always find our way to each other." Sophia nodded and linked her arm through Emma's. Humans found paths through deserts, across oceans, and through hearts. They carried hope like a compass and friendship like a guiding star. When it was time to leave, Emma felt a gentle sadness, but also a bright hope. She knew they would part again, but now the miles felt smaller. She boarded the train with Sophia by her side until it pulled away. Sophia waved until Emma turned the corner. Emma held the wooden compass and smiled. On the ride home, Emma wrote new entries in the shared journal about the woodland trail and the picnic by the stream. She sketched the real trees beside the model, the stream beside the paper rock, and her own footprints beside Sophia's. Each line on the page was a promise. Promise to keep trying, promise to build,